Hello, and welcome to Co-ople Mode, a couple's opinion on gaming. I'm Matt.
I'm on my third cup of coffee. I'm ready to go.
She's all charged up.
My name's Rose. I should do this every time. I feel so ready for this today.
Yeah, you're just pumped up?
I do feel really pumped up, but I think it's the caffeine coursing through my veins.
Yeah, not coming off, riding your motorbike Pokemon around the world, wind in your hair.
Well, so I defeated 2 storylines, which means I can complete the 3rd storyline, which is going to Area 0. Mm-hmm. And I went down there, and I can't ride my wonderful bike Pokemon down there. It won't let me because he's scared to be there or something.
Yeah.
So I have to walk, and that really pisses me off.
What kind of legendary is he?
I don't know. But
I'm scared of this hole.
Going the whole game of zooming around on him to being forced to walk for more than 30 seconds, you're like, this is bullshit. It feels horrible. All
right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll move on to another mode of transportation for this new game that we're going to play. You got any guesses, Rose?
I do, because I accidentally found out. Checking my emails. I received a gift from Steam. What? I didn't. Who? How? When? Why?
So I thought
Helldiver 2, and I'm like, immediately, whatever, don't know what that is. Forgot what it was and had to double check, but I knew what it was. I just don't know anything about it.
So first things first, yes, Helldivers 2, which came out very recently. And normally we're not usually up on the most recent games, but I thought this one would be pretty fun. But yeah, I thought I was going to be sneaky because she's got her Steam account, I got mine, we can change accounts on the computer, and I was like, oh, I'll just buy it for her, I'll switch over to her account, I'll accept it, she won't even know. And then I completely forgot that it also sends an email to the person you sent a gift to, and then she's like, so what's Helldivers? And I'm like, gosh, dang it. I forgot. Oh, well. So, Helldivers 2, to clarify, is a third-person shooter game. It kind of has Starship Trooper vibes. Have you ever seen that movie? It's an old, 90s, campy, we're Space Marines and we're fighting off this alien bug menace. If
I saw it, I didn't pay attention at all.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't think I saw it.
It's an amusing movie. Maybe we should go and watch it sometime just because it's kind of ridiculous. It has this kind of campy vibe feel do everything for democracy. It's super the government, Super Earth is what it's called. Propaganda. We got to protect Super Earth. And so you as a Helldiver land on these planets and try to fight off these various menaces. One is the automatons, which is basically Terminator robots. Oh, okay. And one is this bug menace, which are these big alien bugs with nests and stuff like that.
Okay. So see, that's funny because even just the picture that I saw, this is all I know about this game. I'm like, this is giving me the Earth Defense Force vibes, and it scared me a little.
Okay, I can see.
And then you're like, yeah, you shoot a bunch of bugs, and I'm like,
yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's what I'm picking up.
No, I would say playing this game gives you more of a feel of kind of Call of Duty Zombies and Left 4 Dead in the vibe of you got these enemies coming at you, right? And but you do have objectives you are supposed to do. You're supposed to clear these nests or kill these certain bigger guys, or you always have an objective each place you land on this planet, and you go and do that. Now you can jump in with a group of other people pretty easily. It's really easy to jump in, or you could just join up on your ship together and jump down together and try to complete it. And then at the end, once you complete your objectives, you can extract. So you're trying to escape at the end. And then you got them trying to stop you right at the end, right?
Okay.
So it's really fun and exciting to play with people. And as you play, you level up, you get currency to unlock new weapons and suits and whatnot. So the more you play, the more you can start to tailor it to how you want to do it. It was released February 8th, 2024. Now, I don't normally say the specific day, but because of how recent it was, I figured I'd throw that in there. It was published by Sony Interactive Entertainment and is developed by Arrowhead Game Studios. Now, a couple of games that people would probably recognize that are made by Arrowhead was the first big one was Magica, which was like kind of top-down
card game, right?
No, it was
I'm thinking of something else.
more kind of Diablo-esque, kind of top-down, my gosh, Nobody Saves the World, kind of that vibe. But you played as these magicians, but you didn't have an MP limit. It was all about the order you would use the elements. So you had like fire, water, earth, lightning, and depending on how the order you tap those in determines the magic spell. So it was all about like remembering combos so you could use the spells you wanted to use, which was actually really interesting. It I believe it won an award at the Swedish Game Awards.
Oh, okay.
During the year it came out. Another one people would probably recognize is the Gauntlet reboot that came out recently. Also kind of in a similar vein, top down. It used to be into this old arcade game. Big deal. Same, not as much RPG elements as it was just like have fun hack and slashing, So this game, Helldivers 2, got a Metacritic score of 82. Now, on February 11th, the Arrowhead's game CEO announced that the game had sold 1 million units, which is far and above what they were expecting.
After a couple days? Wow.
Yeah, so here's, there's just kind of all these little interesting tidbits about this game, because this game came out for PlayStation and PC, so we'll be playing it on PC. Obviously, I bought it on Steam. Oh my gosh. And then the first Helldivers was another top-down game, but it was the same thing. You go down on these planets, it's like a twin stick shooter, and you're trying to, complete objectives and escape. But they just took that game and made it a third-person game, and people have just been loving it. Like, people have been getting into it, role-playing with it, like, having just fun with it.
Aww.
And, like, a lot of people have been making, like, memes about certain places that are really tough that they tried to land on and fight off. And they actually, like, according to Arrowhead CEO, they're like, all this stuff is they're treating it as semi-canon. Like all this stuff that people are making, because this is their experiences. They're really making it a community experience with this game, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So this game, because it sold that many units, it's become the biggest launch for any PlayStation game that was also released on PC. So since it was released at the same time, this is the biggest one they've had. And like Sony was like, oh man, this game completely went far beyond our expectations. Like, it's amazing. And because it's so successful, Arrowhead Studios is announcing, like, we're going to hire some more people to accelerate our post-launch content. So that way, because we got all these people that are loving it and want to play it, and we want to get that extra stuff we're going to be putting in there happening sooner for the people that are excited for it. But if you hadn't heard about Helldivers 2 up to this point, you probably didn't hear about the problems that happened at launch. So what happens to a game that's played online that gets way more people than they expect?
It gets overloaded and it crashes and no one can get on.
Yep.
For a reference, Overwatch 2.
Yep, that happened. So because it had so much interest, people were loving it, people were talking about it, and they had so many people on. The first couple weeks of the game, like, most people weren't even able to log in and play. I think they only had like a 500,000 player cap. Like, that was their server cap. And they sold 1 million copies, like, it's like, yeah, that's not enough. So the developers obviously acknowledge this. They've since pushed out a fix, and now they increased it to 700,000 concurrent players. But there was another thing that was causing these problems, is what people were doing was not logging out of the game.
Why?
Because they wanted to play the game when they wanted to play. So they would just leave the game on. There was people on Discord were talking about how
Why would you do that?
So because people were having such trouble getting into the game.
Oh, that's why.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Put the dots together.
Yeah. So so it's like, well, I want to play Helldivers 2 when I want to play or able to play.
I know, but that's kind of shitty. Like, you're consciously deciding, like, fuck other people.
But that's
like,
the thing.
I want to play.
Apparently one guy stated, like, he left the game on for 3 days.
That's nuts.
And like, he's like, I didn't get a chance to play for 3 days, but I just left it on. And it's like, why?
That's kind of shitty.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry.
So people were having lots of trouble with that. So in addition to increasing the server cap, they also added an AFK timer. So if you're sitting there doing nothing for 15 minutes, booted. And
Nice.
so between those two things, that really helped Minnie.
Our kitty wants to.
Our kitty wants some major attention. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Rubbing
gosh,
the mic.
Minnie. Please don't. Oh man, you got hair all over my mic. But yeah, so they added the AFK timer, and because of those things, you know, it really helped even out. And since I've been trying to get in, I haven't had a problem getting in. It's been nice. So
Wouldn't
luckily,
it be kind of funny if you're like, hey, play this game, and I could never log in?
I know
It would be a little bit funny.
That's why I tested it out first. I
Sure.
tried to I'm like, oh, okay, I got right in. I know it was like right after the server fix happened, and it's like, okay, we're all good. We're all good. So in an interview with PC Gamer, the Arrowhead CEO gave some insights to how they're running Helldivers 2. And one of the big things about them is they have like a single mastermind named Joel who functions as this like intergalactic dungeon master. So there's like, so I was talking earlier about
So powerful sounding intergalactic dungeon
and people have
master.
already made like lore about this Joel of like, oh, how he drops in with Helldivers and will like sabotage their mission so
Yeah.
the automatons don't get defeated and like all this stuff. And so it's really kind of fun to see this meta narrative just like being like pushed throughout it because people are just having fun with it. Because the thing is, when they made this game, they actually kind of wanted that to be like that because they wanted to have some of that narrative, like group narrative, like Dungeons and Dragons. So they were kind of inspired by that.
That's cool.
Which was very
And
interesting.
You've made the case before that packing too much lore into a game does not help the game. It actually hurts it. You got to leave a little room for people to create their own kind of thing with it.
Yeah.
It makes you grow attachment to it.
Yep. I like just recently I've been seeing people talk about this like secret third style of enemies.
Yeah.
And like, oh, is this like the Luminites I may have heard of? So it's like all this stuff is coming back like rumors from the war about like something crazy thing they saw. And it's kind of really interesting. Like you can't make that happen really,
No.
but like once it starts going, you can't stop it either.
And it makes everything super successful.
Yeah, it's really fun. And I think that's just like, just letting, I mean, I love Dungeons and Dragons. So like sharing the narrative with the group is like a thing I enjoy doing. So I thought that was just really cool. So just to clarify, the thing Joel, the intergalactic dungeon master, can do is mostly things like reinforce the enemies if players are having too easy of a time like getting through a planet, and just like adding some narrative events depending on what the players do. So he's just like tweaking things. He's not like full on like, oh, well, guess what? Here's like 1 billion enemies, you're dead. Like he's not doing stuff like that, but it's more of adjusting the challenge according to the player input, which is what a DM should do, actually. I do that a lot. And I've only got to really play a few times so far, and I've definitely wanted to play more, but like this is one of those games you can't pause it because it's always ongoing. But everybody who's attacking these planets, like all the people that are playing are trying to do different missions on this planet, and you can see a meter of how liberated this planet is.
That's cool.
And like you have this galactic map, so it's like, okay, these people are doing an escort mission, and over here no one's doing this mission to activate this communications tower. Okay, I'll go jump over there. And like literally you're in your spaceship, you get in a little drop pod, and you hell dive through the planet, all on fire, land, bust out, time to start doing stuff. And it's cool because usually you get like 30 minutes or so to complete your objectives. But like there's all these like, sometimes there's like sub objectives that can get you more points, or they have samples around. So not only does leveling up and completing your mission get you like your basic credits to buy new equipment, you can upgrade your ship by finding these samples of like, hey, here you go. Now you get max ammo when you come out, or when your special weapon drops down, or like your cooldowns are faster for your, they call them stratagems. And I'm going to leave that a little loose here because we'll probably end up talking about it more in the second half. But it's really fun. And honestly, I'm really excited to try it with you. It might seem crazy at first, but I think after a couple drops, then once you understand, like, oh, this is what I got to be doing, it gets really fun.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah, and like I said, we've had a lot of fun. We played Left 4 Dead a bunch back in the day, which is a great game. We love to play Call of Duty Zombie. Like, we get the bug for it, and we just play. And I feel like this kind of scratches that itch for me of like, oh my god, like there's just all these enemies around. Like, it is war, right? Like, it's me against the world right now. And like, just having a buddy with you, there's only one thing, and I gotta warn you, there is friendly fire in this game. You can't turn it off.
That's not a warning of watch out. It's a warning of please don't shoot me the whole time, Rose.
Well, it's not just that. You can like ask for a machine gun turret that will shoot bugs, and it says specifically in its blurb when you decide to pick it, like, hey, it doesn't like stop shooting if you're in the way. It just shoots bugs. So like, if you are in front of one of those things and it starts shooting towards you, you got to like do a belly flop dive. So the machine gun fire just goes right across your head. It gets really intense. But honestly, I think like some games, friendly fire is just like, it's the most annoying thing in the world because like how the game is built, you're always crossing, like running in front of each other, all that stuff. But like, because you kind of have this open area to like give yourself space, or like, you really just got to like, okay, I plan a little bit so I don't just shoot my friends in the head on accident. Yeah. Don't worry. You got reinforcements. You can summon another guy, but the guy you played as is dead now. Like, but I'm just really excited to try this with you. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to especially play with somebody I know. I've had some fun playing with other people. One dude gave me this cool backpack with a drone that shoots lasers. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's all about being cooperative. That's the big thing, you know?
Cool.
So I think I'm going to save much more of the talking for the second half, just because I don't want to give too much away until we have a chance to, you know, really dig our teeth into it. And I think we'll end the first half. How excited do you feel?
You're making it sound really fun. I'd say 8.5.
Yeah.
Like, I actually want to play it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes I'm like, oh.
Sad panda.
This sounds good, though.
Yeah. I think it's going to,
it sounds like something there's a good chance I might really, really enjoy it and get hooked. So that's exciting to me.
It's all about just getting used to the feel of this game. Like, you know, you played enough games, like every game feels different when you move around, right?
Yeah. Or, you know, maybe like there's a category system. Some games feel like certain things and some games feel like others. But yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I would say like, especially with shooters, they're all really similar.
Yeah, there's a similar
vibe. The gameplay and the environment might be different, but the main like aspect of it, it's all pretty relative.
Yeah.
It's not a hard learning curve most of the time.
I'd say like in the scheme of shooters that I've known that you have played, it is closer to a Gears of War than it is a Call of Duty, if that makes sense. There isn't a cover mechanic, but it's more like that's third person shooter, that kind of vibe, and like just enemy, like it gets crazy, right? So not quite all the way there, but like on the scale more towards Gears of War than Call of Duty.
That sounds fine.
Sense. So we are going to get out of here. We're going to go jump on some planets, fight off some automatons, and we will get back to you in a little bit. I'll see you guys in the second half. Bye. Hello, welcome back from spreading managed democracy across the planets. And the various planets that there are.
It's nicer here. There's not mines everywhere.
Yeah. bug mines, automaton mines, freaking mushroom spores. I think the last planet we're on had some ice flowers or something.
Yeah.
It's just dangerous
I got
stuff
so mad at
everywhere.
myself at one point. I just kept walking into the bright yellow little lights on the ground and getting blown up. And I'm like, why do I not understand to not step on those? They made it really easy for me. Stop doing this, Rose.
I will say the funny thing about the terminid little mines is like for some reason it feels like, oh yeah, those should be here. Like how they're designed.
It's part of the decor.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I stepped through a few of them myself. Luckily they're not like, they don't kill you or anything. They just kind of
No, they do sometimes. Yeah, I died.
hit enough of
Yeah.
them.
Well, when you're getting chased by big bugs, you just kind of run, and if you're damaged at all and you run out of mine, kaboom, dead,
Yeah.
eliminated.
So I guess let's hear your opinions on this game. Let's see what you think about it.
It was hard to take notes. This isn't the kind of game you can play and take notes.
No.
You can't pause it. Like, there is no pausing. So you're in it to win it every time.
Hopefully.
But starting it up, it's got a really nice fast-paced tutorial. The only thing that was a little tricky was it is super fast, and it is different controls than other shooter games. So I kind of had to relearn what to do. So even by the end of the tutorial, I'm like, I totally forgot how to get out my grenades, and I'm pressing buttons and I can't figure it out. Please help me, Matt. But I liked the pace of it. It just blasts you through that, and then you're go. And then it's just go, go, go. Do whatever you want. It's neat. You get to name your ship, and you get up there, and you can choose which side you want to go fight, whether it's the automatons or the terminids.
Terminids.
Yeah.
Bugs or robots?
Bugs are robots, right? The bugs are super cool. They're fun. They jump around. Different ones do different things, and there's some real big baddies in there. And the robots are really cool. Those guys are nuts, and they look like Terminator robots, like you said.
Yep.
With the red glowing eyes, and like some of them shoot at you. Some of them have swords or chainsaws for arms. Like I honestly just loved it. Like I jumped into an automaton one at first, and that was the wrong choice because I feel like they're a little bit harder than the terminids.
Definitely. Here's the thing, and they split the difficulty between, I think it's 9 levels total. So you kind of have 3 levels of like, hey, here's the game and here you're understanding it. But like you have the terminids, they're almost all just physical based. They're all running at you or jumping at you and stuff like that.
Or spraying you with their puke.
Yeah, the green ones will spray you. Yep. So you get some of those as you get to the high end of the easier difficulties. But the automatons, they start shooting at you right away. And the only thing that gets worse about them is it goes from just shooting laser bolts to also rocket launchers, which I've had a few of those like one-hit kills as I see it a second before my face is blown open, you know?
You have to creep around more with the automatons. You got to be a little more careful. It's not running in and spraying and mowing them down.
Yeah.
The terminids, you can get away with that a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can still get overwhelmed though. We went up a difficulty the last time we played, and it was noticeable. That's for sure.
That is one thing that I have noticed, that even every time you increase the difficulty, you can definitely notice the increase. It isn't like, oh, it's easy and normal are the same. Like there is a noticeable difference. And when you jump from the 3 easy difficulties to the normal challenging difficulties, like that was a big jump because we had those big chargers. They were like fully armored, and we were very underprepared for those guys. I was like, oh, I got a grenade launcher, it'll be fine. And I just watch it bounce off, and I had one, bounce off another one, and then blow myself up, and that was cool, I guess. That wasn't so fun. So you really you really have to manage your loadout to be prepared. And like you took out that Bile Titan. I was impressed.
I got so lucky with that. Thank God I had bought some stratagems finally.
Oh, the stratagems.
That's a cool part of this game is the stratagems. It kind of separates it from other shooter games, right? This is their special thing, I feel like. Everybody can buy, purchase, and load up different ones that they want to carry. And there's so many different choices, whether you want like nukes or like eagle strafing, different weapons you can use, different like supply mods, turrets. There's such a huge variety, and you unlock them the more you level up. That's really cool, especially when you get on a team with people and all 4 of you are carrying slightly different stuff. You've got a great arsenal to go in and try to wipe things out. Like, somebody's going to have something that works. Right?
Yeah, almost always.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
I really like that about this game. It's fun, and it's easy to use. They didn't overcomplicate it. Like, control-wise, this game feels really good once you figure it out. And I felt like the first night I had trouble, but then the second time I played, I was like, okay, I'm getting it now. It's all starting to become natural to me. That also got a little complicated because partway through the second week, you're like, Monster Hunter, please. And I was not going to say no to that. That's kind of a trump card.
Okay. This is, yes, I did say we should play some Monster Hunter, but part of that was when the timing of when we started was they had just released a major order, and it was going to unlock the mech stratagem for people. And people were super excited. So the servers were just filled to the brim with people trying to complete this major order, which they were hoping it would take the people like 3 or 4 days. And the community did it in 1 day. That's how much they wanted it. And then because everyone was online and playing to get these mechs, we were having some server issues.
Yeah, we got booted.
So like the first time we played, it went perfect, and then like that mission got finished, and when we tried to play, we couldn't stay connected to each other.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I really like, I want to play this with you. I think it's more fun when we play together, because this game really
is fun to play together.
Yeah, and so I was like, why don't we just play some Monster Hunter together? And because it's the difference between playing on a couple Xboxes to playing, gotta bring out my desktop PC and all that, it was like we ended up playing a little more Monster Hunter for a minute, but then we got right back into Helldivers. So
yeah, I actually was kind of craving it, and the more I play it, the more I want to play it. I really liked it. There's just I really appreciate a lot of things in it. I mean, right away, the humor in this game in the beginning, I loved it. It's perfect. It's perfectly done. Like, it's all very good. Okay. And then the music and the scenery is amazing too. These environments, like when we go to different places, you'll see little blue jellyfish floating around. You have like burned up pieces of paper wafting away on a Terminid planet. There's all these different things, and it changes it up, and it looks great. This game looks great, but then you add the music in on top of that, and it's like perfect action movie music. I mean, this game looks good and sounds good, and it makes you feel like you're watching a movie, and this game just seems like Star Wars mixed with like Call of Duty mixed with Gears of War, just kind of all smashed together, and it's so much fun because of that. Like, it's a lot of elements from things that I really like.
I feel like we should, because it's been forever since I've seen Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
We should try watching that, because that one's got that campy feel to it, and it's like the bugs in Starship Troopers are pretty much like the Terminids, pretty similar.
Oh, really?
Yep. But I know what you're talking about, the music. Like, you get in your little hell pod, and it launches off, and it's just this epic, like, ba-da-na.
The music's great in this game. Really noticeably good, It really sets the mood. And then, you're getting shot down in your hell pod, and you get these great tips like don't die and things like that. Every citizen matters,
except Helldivers, who are more important.
Matter a little bit more. A lot of jokes about spreading democracy. By killing everybody on other planet.
Yeah,
it's. I mean, gosh, that goes into the different missions that you get too, because it changes it out all the time. There's a lot of different things you can do. You're going to interact with different terminals on the planets. You're going to just need to raise a flag sometimes. Sometimes you just need to eliminate all the enemies on the planet. There's a lot of different things to do, and that keeps it really fresh too, so that you don't get bored. You don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. I really like that part too. And especially, again, like when you have to do some of these missions, it's a lot better if you have people with you on your team to get it done much more efficiently and faster. It makes it a lot easier. So, because sometimes you need to be in two places at once, right?
Yeah, we were on, I think we were on a bug planet. A couple other people joined in. And, you know, sometimes people have mics, sometimes they don't. And that's fine. I'm fine just playing and figuring it out as we go. Because you can pinpoint locations on the map. So it's like, here, let's head over here. And then usually, for the most part, people are like, okay. And they go kind of group up and go. But there are usually these stations that are like a radar station. So if you activate it, it'll show like loot spots on the map. Because there's stuff you can acquire to help you upgrade your ship. Well, okay, I activated the terminal. They went up there and started they kept turning the dish back and forth, and they wouldn't get to the side that it needed.
Yeah.
And eventually, luckily, you were able to get on there and turn it to the right side.
I had to wait for the other two players to try. They both were attempting, and then when they gave up, I walked over and put it where it needed to be. Yep. And then we moved on. It was great. But
and that's just about like knowing it. That I think we talked about this early on, is when you first do some of these missions, you don't understand
what they want necessarily
from you. Yeah. So I think the only criticism I could say is not even like having like a full training, but like have a board in your ship where like this is what you do if you're doing a fuel pump.
Sure, like a manual or something.
Yeah, just like a quick little thing so you know what you're looking for, you know what to wait for.
That's a good one too. Like you gotta line up the pipes. It's like a puzzle game on the one terminal, and you got to do that sometimes. Like it really does switch it out legitimately, where you don't, have the same thing to do all the time. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
Yep.
And of course, after you get done with your mission, then you got to get extracted, and that's challenging and hard. And I love that part too. Like you have about 2 minutes to get out of there, and we cut it so close a couple times.
Oh man,
you were literally diving onto the ship at the last half second. It was amazing.
It was okay. I think the planet was called Hellmire, and one of its naturally occurring things is fire tornadoes.
Yeah.
And these tornadoes will just show up and just wreck a path. You were getting pushed by bugs and fire tornadoes, and like the ship showed up. You finally were able to get around, and I kind of tried to help. And I couldn't remember how long the ship waits for you to get in.
You came back for me.
Yeah. And then
I was like, I'm coming.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, we only have 18 seconds, not like a 30 seconds. I don't know if we're going to make it. And I literally dived in, like the time limit went up, and I jumped in and I made it in, and I felt like such a badass.
Yeah.
It was such a cool move. When we were on the ice planet, we just got so overwhelmed with bugs. We had to split up.
We ended up being split up.
Yeah.
Not even on purpose.
Oh, I can't believe we ended up making it out of there.
I was able
insane.
to run out and kind of skirt around.
Yep.
I just kept asking you, like, are you going to be okay? Because it looked to me on the map like you were in the thick of it.
I was.
And you're over here just like making noises and shouting and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel bad. Do you need me to come back? You're like, don't come back here.
It's hell over here. Don't come back. Leave me behind. I think.
But somehow you got out too. And we just booked it to the extraction point.
I got far enough ahead of them that I was like, okay, I have like this personal mind stratagem. Okay, I got it. I fell into a hole, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. Luckily, I was able to get out of the hole and come around it, and I threw the stratagem across the way. And because the hole was there, it confused the bugs because they didn't want to jump down into the hole because I wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
And then it put mines in the way, and then that gave me enough space to get away, because like I'm running away and I'm just hearing just explosions happening in the background. I'm like, that works for me. And that was the moment, like a pure accident. I thought I was dead for sure, and then luckily I snuck out just barely out under their noses. Oh, that was pretty stress inducing.
It was, but it was so
it was
fun.
A good mission. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You want to talk about how the stratagems and a lot of the computer operation works? How the arrows and use the D-pad?
Well, you just use your D-pad to use your stratagems. I mean, it's pretty nice. You can pull up in the corner of your screen the combination of arrows that you need for certain stratagems. You just pop those in and go. It makes it a little bit challenging when you're trying to use those, when you're trying to shoot bugs and run away from bugs all at the same time. So you need to have like 3 hands with a lot of extra fingers. But I like that about it. Like, this game isn't easy, but it doesn't ever feel so hard like it's not possible.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. I mean, even when we kept going up in difficulty nice and slowly, because we're both, pretty low rank right now.
Yeah.
I think you're at like 8 and I'm at 6 or something.
Yeah.
It's a good balance. Everything in this game feels balanced really well.
Yeah, they've been keeping up with balancing. I think the railgun was a super popular stratagem, heavy weapon to use, and they reduced the damage on it a little bit, and a bunch of people got kind of upset. But they actually admitted that, yeah, it sucks when your weapon gets nerfed, but we want to keep the balance and the fun. And, it's one of those games when it's a live service game. It's constantly going. Everyone's playing online. They want to make it fun to use what you want to use, not just like, hey, this is
the good thing to use.
Yeah,
everybody
the meta.
uses it.
You have to use this or you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And it's very much about picking the right stratagems for the mission you're on. And like I was talking about, I brought that grenade launcher. That thing was just almost useless for me in that mission. And even certain different of the airstrikes, certain ones will be more effective depending on what you're fighting. So it really just, you kind of have to think about it a little bit, or as you play, you learn which ones work for what you want, So like when we were playing with those people, they had this carpet bombing airstrike, and it was so big, it kept killing me because I wouldn't see the beacon for the airstrike. I would just get killed because I was down the wind of the path of it,
It's a very cooperative game.
Yeah.
But when a teammate isn't paying attention to where his other teammates are at the time, that can be a little bit of a problem. But that's kind of how games like that work. Friendly fire is on in this game at 100%. All times.
Yep.
I had to, it's so funny because like I got years of playing like Call of Duty Zombies and Gears of War just in my head. So at first it's like I accidentally shoot you and it's like, oh my gosh, I got to make sure that I stop shooting if I run behind you or if you run in front of me. Like I got to watch where, I'm aiming and you're aiming at the same time. And there's also like reloading in this game. You will run out of ammo. You can't just reload and have... If you reload, you lose the ammo that you had in that clip.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to just carry it over. So that... It sounds so silly, but that was hard for me to get used to at first. Because I'm really used to Call of Duty Zombies, where you're just... If you have a second, you're reloading. And in this game, you do not want to do that because you want to use all your ammo. The only other way is if you find ammo on the planet or if you call in a supply drop, and that takes a couple seconds, and you don't always have a couple seconds in this game. I like that about it. It makes it more challenging. You gotta try to think things out and try to be a little more careful. It's not so much about just running in and mowing everything down and leaving. You gotta kind of take your time. You gotta go a little bit carefully, right? Yeah. And I like that.
It's this interesting thing about this game is, while it is like a very fantastical pseudo dystopian future about democracy and fighting these bugs and these robots, the combat is surprisingly on the realistic side.
Your character is heavy.
Yeah, you have weight when you move. You can't just oh, I reloaded a clip and all my bullets are magically in another clip.
Yep.
You know, I got to be careful if my friends are in my friendly fire zone. Like, you should communicate when you use your stratagems so they're not running in.
Yep.
And it's a lot of like that. I think that duality between the fantastical and that realism is what makes it fun, because you get these ridiculous things that happen. Oh, I got blown up. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, that was my fault. I wasn't paying attention. You know, that's what happens. I think that's where a lot of this fun comes from, because unexpected. I think you ran in front of me and I like shot you in the head because I was shooting bugs one time. Boom, gone. It's like, oh man.
For a little while, you kept like, when you call in your stratagems, you have to throw like a blue orb and then it'll come down from your ship up above. You had a tendency to always throw the orb where I was. And if you're standing where that is, you're going to get smacked and you're going to get hurt, right? And you're always like juking me at the last second and running away in the wrong. I'm like, yeah, because you see me on your left, you throw, and I try to run away, but then you turn and throw it. It's so funny. We're like thinking the same thing, but we need to not.
Oh, man.
So, all of that is just, I mean, that part of it too, even just getting in supplies and your different stratagems coming down. You got to be careful of where you're throwing that stuff. You need to do it at a good time when you have a second. You need to make sure that it's in a place where you could stay for a minute, because you can't get chased off and have to leave your stuff. You only have so many of those, and you have cooldown times for your stratagems, and they're different according to what kind of stratagem it is.
Yeah. One of my favorites that I've used so far, especially against the bugs, is there is an eagle strafing run. It's like a machine gun strafing run, and I get 3 of those before the cooldown happens, or I can set the cooldown to happen if I know I'm going to be running for a minute, let it charge fully up. But like, I can use those in really quick succession, and that's really nice to have, because that can be the difference between being overwhelmed and pulling through in a fight. Oh, like, I really do. Like, I've had so much fun playing this with you, and just thinking about, like, we're talking about how you got to be careful about the clips. I like this shotgun I got. It's like been my favorite weapon so far.
Yeah.
That's a single load shotgun. So I can reload. I can reload that whenever I want.
Sure.
To top it off. But then my other guns are all clip based. So if I get used to like topping off my shotgun because I need max ammo in there, I just wasted a clip because I fired off 2 shots, and then
the reload times too, those really vary according to what you're using and seem more realistic according, like, I'm running around with a heavy machine gun most of the time for my primary. Yeah, me too. That's my kind of weapon, right? I'm not a sniper person. But reload time, I need to make sure that I've got a good clean 10 seconds. And if I don't, I just have to switch to my secondary weapon and just pray that it's nothing that is too big and armored coming after me, or I gotta run.
Pray to Space Jesus to save me.
Help me. I'm trying to be democratic. It's great.
Oh, yeah, this game is just a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see more about what's going to happen.
It's interesting, too, how they do this, because it is all cooperative, and everybody's working together on the server at all times for these different missions. So different areas, everyone is clearing out. And then, like, I asked you about that. I guess they'll have new different things for us to do after that all gets cleared.
Yeah, so like the bugs will push back in certain areas. They'll push out somewhere else, and I talked about in the first half the game master Joel, who's kind of monitoring that and trying to adjust difficulty and move things. And whenever they have like a major order, something big happens. Like that was clear the automaton factory so we can make mechs. I think it was we had to push back the Terminids was the first one. Like they were really encroaching near Super Earth, so we really had to push them back. It'll be interesting to see what they have. It seems like a lot of times now the major orders might coincide with like new updates, new guns they might release or stuff like that, which I think is kind of a smart way to do it, because it's like, hey, here you go, like you're gonna get a bunch of requisition points if you do this, or war bonds or whatever. And you're gonna like new things are gonna happen, and then everyone's kind of wondering like if there's gonna be a third enemy that's gonna pop out at some point.
Yeah, I could see them pulling that out.
Because Helldivers Helldivers 1, you fought cyborgs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't the automatons or the Terminids. It was cyborgs. And so people are wondering if like they're going to make a surprise visit. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be fun. This is one of those games where I feel like you can just come back to and see what's changed and like have fun with it, you know?
Yeah. You could pick it up at any time and just go, and I like that.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you get distracted, you play something else, I'll come back to this and I'll freaking run a few missions with you, and it's just going to be a blast. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to see what more they have in the future for sure. We kind of burned through this one.
It's hard. This kind of game, I feel like, is hard to really talk too much about, just because it's the style of game. It's the type of game it is. You know what I mean? It's a shooter game. Let's be honest. How much can you like? I'm glad that I mentioned like how it looks, how it feels, and I think all of that is really important, because to me, everything felt so well done, and I appreciated it all so much, and it just is set apart from other shooter games that I've had to play before.
Yeah,
I really feel that way. This is the best one ever, I think.
This is your favorite?
I actually think I like this more than any other one. I think this is my new all-time favorite. I really love it. Like I said, there's so many things about it that feel like Call of Duty mixed with Gears of War, where you're shooting aliens, mixed with like, it's all these fun things that I loved mixed together. That's how this one feels.
Oh man,
I think it's so much fun, and I like the cooperation of it. Yeah, with other people.
I do like that. I like it being like, hey,
like
let's
all the
work
stuff
together.
You find, the samples and everything, it's all shared. You know, it's not any man for himself. Yeah, it's literally all together.
Yeah, the one guy we ran into, we were playing. One guy joined us. We were just playing a bug mission, fire tornadoes everywhere. Dude wasn't paying attention. Fire tornado snuck up on him. And you might think, how does a fire tornado sneak up on something? But he was just standing there. It just consumed him. And I was like, oh, I'll pick up his data sample.
It came up behind him. Yeah. They do move really fast.
Yeah, I said when it happened, like, I get it. Like, I've been, like, shooting, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, my gosh, there's a fire tornado on my butt. And I was like, okay. So I summoned him down. I'm like, I'll pick up the data or the samples, because it's shared at the end. All the samples you collect as a group, everybody gets. And apparently this guy did not get the memo, because he immediately shoots me so he can pick up his data samples, which means he gets mine too, but I didn't care because I knew I was going to get it at the end anyways. Apparently that was a big problem early on, is people didn't realize that the data samples were shared, and so people would kill people to get the data samples themselves, because you need quite a few to get the upgrades to your ship. And I get it, but it's a cooperative game. There's no way in hell they're going to be like, no, if you don't get the data sample, you don't get it. Like, that would just be stupid. Like, I don't know why people got to be like that. I think they're just so used to playing battle royales and competitive stuff. You know what I mean?
It is. It's good. And it's nice that they made this different like that, because it is different than all the other ones.
Yeah.
So I think it can take people a little bit of retraining to remember that in the moment.
Yeah.
To give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he might not have known.
I wasn't salty about it. I thought it was funnier than anything. It's like, oh my God.
It was kind of funny to me too, because I'm just standing off to the side. I see him roll up and just blow you away. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Apparently that particular Helldiver was a sympathizer and was a traitor.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. Don't accidentally go off the map, or you're a traitor.
Yeah.
You get bombs coming down, raining hellfire on you.
Both of us, because they were trying to kill you.
And I wasn't trying to run off the map. It was just I was getting chased by bugs, and I was trying to circle back, and you don't have a lot of time where they're like, nope, you're a traitor. Yeah, it's you're like dead.
Less than 10 seconds, it feels like. Yeah, it's nuts. You know, I do like the feel of the guns in this game.
Yeah, I do too. And they all feel a little different.
Yeah.
I tried out quite a few different secondary weapons.
Yeah, yep. I like the little machine pistol as my small. That one's really nice. It's going back to you talking about like this, you think being the favorite shooter you've played.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, like, I definitely put this up there because I've really enjoyed this one. But for me personally, I feel like I get something different out of each shooter. Like I get the desire for.
I feel like you get all the good stuff in this one.
You do get a lot of good stuff.
No, all the good stuff. That's what I said.
For me,
what do you get out of another one that you don't get in this one?
well, I think the feel of Call of Duty shooters, I like the fast pace of that. And
it is, yeah.
I sometimes I want that, and I got to get that bug out, and it's not as often as it used to be, but like sometimes I got to go back
This
and
one's
play.
pretty fast paced.
Yeah,
not as fast.
It's the movement of the character and the environment. It's a little more twitchy, I guess is a way to put it. And then I equate a lot of this a lot more to the Battlefield games, because Battlefield, your character feels very heavy, but that's first person, not third person, and like that one's kind of hyper realistic. Sometimes like I get in the mood for that, but I think this Helldivers would scratch that itch a little more. I think it's just a mood thing. Like, I sometimes I even feel like Halo, like it.
Yeah, well, I kind of get that. I mean, with when you grew up and everything, Halo was a really big deal.
Yeah,
Halo was the
nuts.
biggest deal back in the day. Like, and you spent a lot of years, everybody did, on Halo. I get that. I like Halo. I used to play Halo with you guys all the time.
Yeah.
I never get the urge to play Halo, but maybe, I don't know why. Maybe I didn't love it as much as you guys did. I always just played multiplayer with you guys. I never did like solo campaigns. I didn't have an Xbox growing up. So like, I don't know. I don't get that itch, but I feel like this game, you get the bug thing. And Gears of War, like
Yeah,
the
you love
aliens,
Gears of War, yeah.
Yeah, it's the combat, and that one too, you got to be a little bit more careful in horde mode and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's not all about just massively blowing everything away.
It's like Gears of War without the cover mechanic, but you still have to find cover, especially if you're fighting automatons, because like
that's when it's more important.
Yeah, you're standing up straight out in the open constantly. You just get shot up, and that's what Gears of War was like. You had to get like behind something.
I really like that about Helldivers is you do have such different feels in the combat between which enemy you're fighting.
Yeah.
You have to play.
It feels like a different game almost.
It does. You have to play differently. It feels like a different game, but you know how to play it because it's all the same mechanics and stuff. I really like that about this. I think that was so smart of them to do because it just makes the life of this game so much longer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have so much playability in this game before you're going to get tired of it. Before it gets old or boring.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, if you're like, I'm tired of fighting bugs, go fight some robots. Like, you get tired of getting shot up, go fight some bugs. It really is like, do what you feel like. And we kind of go back and forth because that's fun to do that. You know? Oh,
and the automatons are just so cool because it really is like Terminator.
Yeah, they do. The regular
so
humanoid
cool.
ones, it's like Terminator, and then you get the big ones, which kind of look like the Warhammer 40K guys, robots with the chainsaw arms, and it's kind of funny to see.
Cool.
Like, and there's like the little mini like AT-AT Walker looking guys.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they pulled like these robots from. Like
so many
inspiration from all this stuff, and that's kind of fun to see. So I'm excited. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna play it again. Like that's gonna
hell yeah, you are with me today.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got a definitely play again. What is your rating?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I was unbelievably impressed by this game, and I love it. And I'm like really happy about it. I found a new one that I love, and I didn't expect that.
No,
I really didn't. I saw the picture of it when I accidentally got an email saying that you got it on my Steam account, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I don't think I'm gonna like this at all. This is gonna suck. I'm gonna have another bad 2 weeks. And then, I mean, honestly, I do suck at starting new games.
Yeah.
And that first night I got frustrated a little bit.
Yep.
But like right away, it was kind of like Inscription. It was like, I'm so mad at this game, but at the same time, I gotta keep playing. I can't stop. It's so
inscription.
So silly. I didn't get that mad at this.
No,
one,
no.
Inscription really made me
You
mad.
got real mad at Inscription. That's funny.
But it's like one of my all-time favorite games now.
Because I was a little worried about how much you were enjoying this, and then like you're like, hey, let's play Helldivers.
Yeah, you were surprised.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, it's really fun, and you're like, it is okay. Like, yeah,
All right, you don't want to pull my arm. I'll go play Helldivers.
just because I got my serious face on, I'm being focused. I'm trying to make sure I complete my mission.
So 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I loved
We'll
it.
play
Like I said,
again.
it's just made so well too. And the only problems that we had was the server's overloaded.
Yep.
They are constantly working on that stuff. They're trying to fix it. I'm not going to dock a game points or be mad at a game because it's super popular and everybody wants to play it all at the same time. That's how I feel about that.
Well,
like I get that
yeah.
it sucks that we kept getting booted, but it's like, whatever, we'll try again tomorrow. It's worth waiting a day for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep because I didn't get to play the game I wanted. You know?
It's this thing where they already increased the server load.
Yeah, you
from
mentioned that.
500,000 to 700,000 last I heard.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I'm not going to have these guys spend even more of their money to have even more server space for the rare peak times when everybody's playing.
Yeah.
Like I get that it's frustrating for us as like somebody who purchased a product and I should be able to play it. Like I get that side, but I also kind of see from like these developers did not expect this amount of success, and you got to be smart. You can't go and like put 1 million server, capacity and then you're paying for that and then, stuff
In a
drops.
year, yeah, you
got to be smart about that because like it costs money, and I think that people forget that because they're like, oh, I paid my money to play this game. Well, yeah, that's a one-time thing you paid for.
But in this game, when you load up a mission, you can see in real time how many other people are playing that mission
on each planet.
You have like 100,000 plus people doing these missions all at the same time on different, and there's so many to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we need to slow down and really think about those numbers that we see. That's a lot of people. There was almost 200,000 on the one mission we did yesterday. I mean, that's a lot of people doing that one thing all at the same time. That's really cool.
Yeah. There's one other thing I saw about it is the Helldivers does like a split processing thing when you play multiplayer with other people.
Uh-huh.
So depending on the specs of your machines, every person who's in on the mission is actually their computer is their GPU is the one making the bugs or the robots appear. So like it's actually splitting the enemies among the different computers. So that way it's not just like a lot of times the game is the host computer is the one handling all the processing power and everyone else is just jumping in, right?
Yeah.
So because it splits that, it keeps everyone like computers running at like a decent space and
Sure.
it keeps everyone, because when you have a bunch of people playing, sometimes you can get lag, but it helps prevent that.
I never noticed any lag with you.
Never.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool that it
Yeah, that's interesting.
like your computer, oh, I killed your bug, you killed my, like it could be like that, and I think that's really interesting. That's just a side note. All right, well, we'll jump on. What else have you been playing that we already know about?
We've been playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Iceborne, Monster Hunter World. And guess what? We just beat it last night.
Well, we kind of beat the
got to the end of the
Iceborne
game.
story mode. Yeah. We got the credits.
We got the credits.
But there's still stuff to do.
But it's Monster Hunter. You get credits like 4 times. So.
I know. Oh, you beat the low rank credits. You beat the high rank credits.
I remember when I played Monster Hunter Rise and the first time I got credits, I was like, that's not it, right? I got so upset. I was like, it's not over yet. I barely got it. I was just getting going. You're like, it's just low rank. You got to go to high rank. It's okay. And then there's master rank after that. It's okay. Oh, good.
Yeah, we have a whole another area I think we're going to unlock now at this point, and I'm excited to see where that goes. So, and it was...
We defeated the Everworm, and that was a tough fight.
Yeah. I will say this. We just went through, we beat Rise and Sunbreak, right? We've been battling Elder Dragons over on Rise. And don't get me wrong, they're flipping tough. But man, in World, you get the Master Rank Elder Dragons, and they do not fuck around. I'm just going to say that. Not at all.
They're rough. I don't know. It's hard to compare.
It kind of takes
Because
us
we're
about
so in it in world, but they are hard, and it's a long battle every time. It takes a lot of work to defeat those guys.
Yeah, I feel like
There was one we almost ran out of time, and that's kind of nuts.
Yeah,
Because you have 50 minutes and
Naminel, yeah.
Namiel, yeah.
Namiel, yeah.
Oh, that's such a cool one,
what a
too.
beefy one, yeah.
Yeah, we were almost out of time, and I'm like, are we going to make it, you think? Because they don't give you as many signs of losing their health or the different stages that they're in.
Because they're always so angry and tough. Like, it's very rare to see an Elder Dragon
They'll start
limping.
looking a little more beat up, but they don't look like, you fight a Tigrex or stuff. You can see how nasty they get once you've been wailing on them for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The Elder Dragons kind of keep it together a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know if we're going to make it. And you're just trying so hard. Oh, it feels so good when that one last hit just drops them.
It seems to always surprise us too.
Unexpected.
Like, oh my God, it's dead. Oh my God. We did it. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. Like we really had to learn their moves. I think we did good with Naminel, but like we went and we're like, oh, we'll try this mission where we fight the 3 Elder Dragons. They'll have less health. And the freaking Kieran just dropping lightning bolts everywhere like a jerk.
Yeah, it was Kieran, Kushladora, and Teostra. You need a Teostra, I need a Kushladora shard.
And then Kieran.
And then Kieran's just in there. And I'm like, well, this is the only, quest with those 2 that we need. We'll just do it. We can do it. Kieran absolutely annihilates us right away because we haven't fought a master rank Kieran, just a high rank.
Yeah.
And that freaking lightning unicorn is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just constantly zapping you all the time.
Yeah.
Can't even get close to him. And then he runs around so fast. He doesn't hold still.
No. Oh,
I'm still using the Kinsect Glaive. It is not a good weapon to fight that little pony with because he just does not hold still long enough for me to even it, which is nuts because I can jump around. Like I can move across an arena pretty fast.
Yeah.
That stupid horse is really hard to catch though.
I need my Teostra parts, and I'm gonna make my big heavy gun sticky. I'm just gonna plant them full of explosives. That's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna be my plan.
So that's been fun though. We've made some really good progress with that. You also converted another person to Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Yep. That's
so you're
exciting.
Excited about that.
Yep. So I brought another one into the fold.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. And it's just exciting, and it'll be kind of fun to see what he thinks as he's coming up through it.
Seems real excited about it so far. So that's great.
Yep. If it gets that hook in you, you end up keep going for a while. And then for me, the other thing I've been playing, other than Monster Hunter.
Oh, I did play Pokemon too. But you can talk about your thing first.
Oh, okay.
I did sneak in some Pokemon.
Oh, I didn't know that. V Rising is a little vampire. Like it's kind of top down. I don't want to say survival. It's kind of crap. You're just a vampire in this like big world. You build up your cool castle and like, you make workbenches and a forge, you to get better weapons and equipment, because you don't actually have a level in this game. It's all about taking out like these bosses and drinking the V blood that they have, and that gets you new spells, and it unlocks new crafting things for you. So it's like you got to beat the bosses to get the new stuff to get better, and like it's all about your gear level and how well equipped you are. It is it's a lot of fun. I like how quick and easy the building in this game is, because like recently I played Pal World, or I played Wrath, like any numerous other like full 3D first person builders, and a lot of them work pretty good. But like just being able to kind of have this top down view and just go, I'm gonna build a wall here, click 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 click, like you could just like, it feels so much easier to customize your base how you want, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Like I took the time to like relay out everything, because I could.
I'm not trying to be a hater, but like the building in Pal World isn't that great, is it?
I'm not using Pal World as an example. Pal World building isn't that
though.
It was just the most recent 3D one I've done.
Yeah. And isn't it kind of busted?
Well, they've improved it since then, but I haven't been playing it as much.
I saw
recently.
some wild things.
Yeah, and Raft is a
little bit like that.
Yeah, it's that thing where like you see the little see-through and like it'll lock onto like a grid depending on what you got built, and I like that because that's I want it to look cohesive. I like a sense of symmetry to an extent when I build, because I don't want it to just be like, oh, everything's like overlapped and like that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But I mean, games come a long way in that respect when it comes to building things. So I've had a lot of fun with that, and it is in early access still right now, but I think it is April or May is the 1.0 release.
Okay.
It's going to be a full release game soon, so that's exciting. They added a whole new end game area for people.
Nice.
So talk about Pokemon.
I finished Pokemon Violet. I got to the end of the game. I did tell you about this, remember? Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to bring it up because we did just do that game on our podcast. And I was really close to the end when we recorded. So I finished it up, all 3 of those storylines. And I was very unimpressed with the end of the game. I thought the last battle, like, it was challenging and I appreciated that. But the story of it and how drawn out it was really just kind of cringy and stupid. And it just was. And I'm sure, like we kind of talked about, it seemed like they're trying to aim this more for a younger audience.
Yeah.
Which I get it. But there's just some things in there that are so silly. Like, you basically find out that Professor Turo is an AI, okay? And it's Arvin's father, but Arvin's father actually died years ago. He's finding that out in this moment because the game makes you take your friends to the end battle. And the AI is like teasing them and being like, I'm jealous of you guys because you have friendship. And it's like, and I'm an AI robot and I can't feel those feelings. And I'm like, but you can feel jealousy? How does that work, AI robot? Like, it's just really bad dialogue. It's bad story writing and telling. And it's hard to look past that because it's Pokemon. They just kind of keep going with it all the time. Like, they don't let up very easily. So it was kind of a downer for the end of the game. It was bad enough that it didn't make me want to play the DLC. I was like, I'm glad I'm done with this, because the more I played through Violet, the less I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And I've never really felt that way about a Pokemon game before. Usually you want to play it more the further you get. I've had the opposite effect. Like, the whole end area where you go down into the crater and there's supposed to be all these big tough Pokemon down there, I found like 4 that I didn't have. And they're the stuff that you expect and know is going to be down there. I didn't get to find anything exciting or new that I didn't know I was going to see. So it's really filled with a lot of Pokemon that you already have seen out in the main areas.
Yeah.
Already have. They're not that much stronger. I mean, they're like level 60s. That's not high.
Pretty normal for
I'm already in level
stuff.
70s on my team. Like, it was really a letdown. It was really bad. I was disappointed.
I mean, that's a bummer.
So I'm glad I gave that game like a 6.5 because it deserves it. I stand by that, actually. Finishing the game up, I stand by that 6.5.
No, you put it at a 6 because of the sandwiches, remember?
Oh, yeah, you're right. To keep blocking them out because they're so annoying.
Oh, the sandwiches are so bad. I keep trying to forget. Oh, my God. I dream nightmares about these sandwiches.
Yeah. But at least I get to update that I did finish it and see what the end was like. But overall, pretty disappointed. I'm going to take a break from Pokemon for quite a while.
We'll wait for the next Legends game to come out and see how that does. I'm going to be hesitantly optimistic. That's
Arceus was good.
Yeah.
But if this one I don't even want to say it, but like I would think the next Legends would be at least as good as Arceus. But I guess you would say that about Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah,
too.
you would feel like that too. Like I'm all
Because if the next one comes out and it lags and is all janky like this one, I'm gonna give up. Maybe, you know what I mean?
yeah, people are gonna be pretty upset. But I
They
think
really need to do better. I'm sorry, you've been showing me games for over a year now, and people are making good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Hey, Game Freak, you need to like get it together because you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot pretty soon.
Here's the thing.
They got to keep up with the competition.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping Pal World kind of does that for them.
yeah, that might put a kick in their pants for that. I feel like that. Okay, Scarlet and Violet did not do so well, and they did do some fixing of it. They do have some DLC that people that love Pokemon like. But here's the thing. It came out, people were just talking about it looks bad, it plays bad, like it came out bad, like worse than it is now. And it still sold 10 million because it's Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
But here, you do that one time, yeah, you're probably going to get away with it. The next mainline Pokemon game will come out eventually, and people are going to probably still buy that a lot. But I think they're going to see a lot more hesitancy from people the next time around. And if the next mainline is not as good,
It might depend a lot on the initial reviews of it.
yeah. So
How well it sells.
I don't think one bad game breaks a company, but
No.
if they do 2 or even 3, it's going to be like people like not worth it anymore. It's not
No.
worth it. And like, yeah, sure, you're going to still get those kids in because it's Pokemon and like they're just always going to buy Pokemon. It's why people buy Paw Patrol games and what, like kids are going to get it. Okay, that's your market now, but like you just disappointed everyone that built up your company in the first place.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe as a company, sometimes you got to choose to age out of that, but
Maybe
That's- I don't know. I don't know why you'd want to do that because they're in a sweet spot right now where their demographic is like 5 to 40. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like I would keep it there, but
Well, that's the thing. Like we, all of a sudden, adults they grew up on it. We have the money to spend
yeah.
to like really, push it through. And I don't know. Maybe they need to think about like, hey, let's make a Pokemon game for the adults so they can get what they want out of it.
Yeah, I mean, something that's a little tougher, something that doesn't have such silly dialogue all the time. And something that just isn't so gosh, this game it was like playing that what was that Monster Hunter one that you made me play that was
Stories.
yeah, it was like that. It's so geared for a younger audience. It's hard to get behind for me. It's a little too much.
Yeah.
And there was just certain things in this one that you kind of missed out on. Like you can't change your outfit in this one. You can get new shoes or a new hat or something, but you can't change your shorts.
Oh yeah, because you're like
you got to wear
school
your uniform.
student.
Like
Dumb.
little things like that.
Yeah.
That you always could do in past Pokemon games.
For a
all
long
of a sudden
time.
you can't.
Yeah.
You're like, hey guys, why? Why are you taking this away from me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been playing your games. I've been good.
You can do it once you buy the DLC and you got to do like a whole thing. I
really?
saw online to even be able to
Okay,
change your
that's
shirt.
lame.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, well, I'm not going to buy your DLC just because you throw that in there to try
Yeah.
to tempt me.
Nope.
I want to buy your DLC because I like the game and I want to play more of it. Like, and I'm sorry. I sincerely doubt that DLC is big enough or enough of a game that it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of spoiled now with Monster Hunter. Like you buy a DLC for Monster Hunter, you basically get a whole nother game stacked on top.
Just about. Yeah.
It's almost just as long. And it's gotta feel pretty worth it.
It really is. I've always been pretty happy with Monster Hunter's DLC with World and Rise and in the when they were doing 3 Ultimate and 4 Ultimate, like that was already like the master rank was included. Like when it came stateside, they included the whole game for you, which was nice. But I'm perfectly fine with buying the full game and then, wait whatever it is, a year, and then you get that big DLC with a whole new monster and another, like it's like you get 2 flagship monsters every game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's kind of cool, and that makes it fun. And I feel like if they put out a game of that quality, I am happy to give you more money because you're putting out a game that I want to play.
Yeah, I mean it's not inexpensive.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's a decent amount of money, but you do basically get a whole nother new game.
I mean, yeah, I think if you buy them both at full price, you're buying Monster Hunter at $60 or $70, depending on whatever version you got, World. And then if you bought Iceborne at full price, it was $30 because it's, you know, it's a bunch of master rank. Don't get me wrong. Like it's almost as long as the main campaign in World, and you're paying half the price for that. And like they added so many monsters in the master rank. It's wild, but we could talk about Monster Hunter all day.
Yeah, we better stop.
We better end it. Any closing words you got about
Helldivers?
Yeah.
I can't wait to play again. That's what I got to say about that.
That's about as high a praise as you can get. All right, I want to thank you, our listeners. I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out. Feel free to stop by our TikTok, leave some comments, suggestions. You know, there's all sorts of places. You guys are technologically savvy. I trust you. You know what you're doing. And thank you, Brother Ray, for caricatures. I love them. They're my favorite. And I'm Matt.
I'm Rose.
And this has been Co-ople Mode. You keep gaming with your bestie. Ta-ta!